Good morning, and welcome to our Sunday morning worship hour. It's so good to see all of you today, especially if you're visiting for the first or the second time to discover and learn what we're all about. My name is Mary Kerwin, and I am your co-celebrant. I currently serve this church as chair of our Worship Arts Committee. Our minister, Reverend Annie Furster, is on vacation today, but she will return to our pulpit next week. We're very honored to have the Reverend Denise Blakely here as our guest leading the worship hour. More about Denise in a minute, but first we have several announcements. Name change voting round 4 happens today. The remaining 4 names still in the running are First Unitarian Universalist Church of Fort Worth, Shady Creek Unitarian Universalist Church, Chosen Faith Congregation, a Unitarian Universalist community. And the 4th is All Peoples Unitarian Universalist Church. Voting in person is located in the foyer on the large plate glass window today after the service. You can get 1 dot, which represents 1 vote. Check with members of the name change committee to get your dot. And there will also be online voting, as we've done. And you can check your email for the link to the online poll. The Spectrum Chamber music players will be in the house here tomorrow night, Monday, April 25th at 7 p.m. 7:30. Thank you, David. Chamber music tomorrow night at 7:30. Tomorrow's program is billed as All the Crayons, a modern music concert. Mask wearing will be strongly encouraged at this event. Admission is free, and free will donations are accepted. Plan to stay for the reception after the concert, featuring beverages and a variety of sweet and savory small bites. Our stewardship campaign is entering its 4th week and will be winding down by month end. Pledges for the new church year starting July 1st now stand at $132,000. It's never too late to make a pledge. If you haven't done so yet, please turn in your pledge card so that your donations can be included in creating our new budget that we'll vote to approve at our spring congregational meeting next month on May 22nd. Our board president, Roy Brake, and our treasurer, Dan Sexton, are happy to answer your questions about stewardship at First Jefferson. And now we welcome Reverend Denise Bell Blakely to our pulpit. Denise's biography, in her own words, is as follows. Beginning at the beginning, I was born in Augusta, Georgia. Both my parents were enlisted in the Army. My father was a drill sergeant and a military police officer. Mom was in the WACs and a sharpshooter. We moved around a lot, and unfortunately, Mom and Dad parted ways, and I was raised in Ennis, Texas, by my grandparents. My early education was completely in parochial schools, graduating from St. John Prep High School. I graduated Brookhaven College in 1992 and started a business with my husband about that same time. I finally understood God's calling on my life around age 30. However, I spent the next 10 years running in the other direction. I said yes to God and entered the ministry when I turned 40. I served as a Methodist pastor for 24 years, serving churches in Ellis, Navarro, McLennan, and Tarrant County. I was assigned to my bishop 2 churches I was assigned by the bishop to churches that were predominantly white. But their neighborhoods were predominantly Hispanic and black. My job was to build a bridge between the church and the neighborhood. In 2012, I received the Harry Denman Award for Evangelism. Although retired from pulpit ministry since July of 2020, I am still an associate member of the Central Texas Conference and serve on the District Committee on Ministry. I am also a member of the East Fort Worth Business Association and Mayor Parker's Faith Cabinet. I've been a member of the trustee board of Eastside Ministries / Eastside Community Assistance since 2015. I was voted president of the trustee board, executive director in 2019. My goal is to aid my brothers and sisters in finding a path out of poverty and hopelessness. My husband's name is Marshall, and I fell in love with him partly because I love his name. We have 3 sons, William, Evan, and Gregory. We have been together 42 years, and I pray for 42 more. My gifts are evangelism, counseling, and logistics. Well, we welcome you to First Jefferson, Denise. Thank you so much for being here with us.
I'm honored.
We'll now gather into a spirit of worship with our musical prelude, a piano sonata by Beethoven performed by Misha.
Blessings, everyone. Our call to worship is number 442. We bid you welcome. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome who enter this hall as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, on your journey, we bid you welcome.
We now invite you to stand for our chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and our spoken words of affirmation. So, Denise, if you'd like to light the chalice. Sure. Okay. The flame within the chalice is the primary symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. We light this chalice, symbolic of the warmth of community and the brightness that brings love to the world, illuminating our search for justice and peace, light that nurtures all living things, here in our midst in this flame, so tiny and so significant. And now please join us in singing our opening hymn, found in the gray hymnal and on the screens, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Our unison affirmation is, love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Our story for all ages today will be told by Joe Burnham. Our story is called The Three Questions and is based on a story by Leo Tolstoy.
Well, good. Hey, guys. Okay, today's the 3 questions. And this was written by Leo Tolstoy. And you guys have heard this one before. I don't know that Michael has, though. This is for Nikolai. There once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends. I'm sorry, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood, and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my 3 questions, Nikolai continued, and then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia the heron spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance. Gogol the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, you will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin the dog, who had just started dozing off, rolled over and said, you can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head.
A donut on your head.
Yeah. Nikolai thought for a moment, and then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up towards the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more, then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin, right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer the question, but their answers just didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought, I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I am looking for. Nikolai hiked up the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions I came to ask you, and I came to ask for your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until all the rows were finished. But as he finished, the wind started to blow wildly, and rain burst from the darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried her to Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with sticks of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging the doors and windows. The panda woke up and said, "Where am I? And where is my child?" The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry. Then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning the sun was warm, the birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonya, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure that everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends. He had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions. So he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" said the boy. "Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the pandas cry for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at the moment was me. The most important things to do was help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby. The most important thing to do was take care of them and make them safe." Remember that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing to do is take care of the one standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is the most important thing in this world. And this is why we are all here. Okay, guys? Thank you for joining me. Can we sing the kids out?
As we leave this friendly
Would you like to come and play in the nursery?
place, look and light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in congregations of all sizes. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. As you consider your donation, remember that it's our custom to share the cash offerings of our plate with an appointed group or charity. This quarter, we're sharing our plate with the TLC, the Tarrant Literacy Coalition. Their mission is to help community and faith-based literacy programs become strong and relevant by enabling high-quality instruction, investing in knowledge, and raising awareness of adult low literacy rates. Our offering will now be gratefully received, and will the ushers please come forward? good.
That was beautiful. Our reading today is number 668. Faith cannot save. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but do not have works? Can faith save you? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm and eat your fill," and yet you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I by my works will show you faith. James 2.
Please stand or remain seating for our hymn, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Please be seated. At any time during our service, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here at the side of our chancel. We are reminded of the many people in the world who are burdened by sickness, hunger, and pain, by sorrow and anxiety, by violence and loss. We pause this morning to share our concern and care for these people, and also for those closer to home about whom we are concerned. From our book of memory and hope today, we have one story. Sherry Husband would like us to please pray for her friend, Becky Taylor. Becky's dad just died on Friday, and we are thinking of Sherry and Becky and her family with love. May the warmth of this community extend to all who are rejoicing or hurting in our wider world. The stories that live in this community are cherished, even when unshared, and we keep one another in mind during the coming week. With gratitude and hope for centering yourselves, we now ask that you observe a moment of silent meditation. Our musical interlude is by Bach and Busoni, the choral prelude in F minor.
Good morning, everyone. Let's enter into a conversation about forgiveness. I've always had this theory about sermons that sermons are not just someone talking at you. There are thoughts that go along with every sermon, and I do believe that we are entering into a conversation about what forgiveness is and is not. Let me tell you a quick story. Back in 2005, I was senior pastor of a church in Waco, Texas. And was there about 6 months, and I noticed that these two women who had ride together would come into the church, but sit like east and west from each other inside the building. And so I talked to each one of them individually. I found out they were sisters, but they were angry at each other. So, you're supposed to be a good listener, right? So I'm just listening. I don't have an opinion about why you're not sitting together. Just, just whatever I can do for you, just let me know. And so I listened to the one sister, and, she told me what was going on and why she was mad at her. And then I just asked, I said, well, when did this happen? I'm thinking, a week or two ago. She told me in 1964. And I'm like, well, it is 2005. That's a long time. That is a long time. And so I ended up on this journey of what forgiveness is and what forgiveness isn't. Because I'm sure as you do, you want to do everything in excellence. So I didn't want to give misinformation, but I also didn't want to force anything on two people who clearly needed to walk a journey of forgiveness. So I'd like to share with you all of the things that I've learned on this journey of forgiveness. One of the main things that I've learned is that I have to forgive because I need so much forgiveness. I have to forgive because I need so much forgiveness. To not forgive is to be in denial that we may have done something wrong maybe one day. I don't know when that day was, but we may have done something wrong at some point in time in our life. True forgiveness is an internal experience. It's not about the person who hurt you, and it's not denial either. One of the things that forgiveness is not is being in denial that you were hurt. It is not. Forgiveness is not a pass for anyone. What forgiveness is you making a declaration that past will not bind me. I am not held by my past. I am not held by the things that people did to me. I am a free person. Therefore, I decide I am going to forgive. I'm leaving that past in the past. Before we can truly forgive and let go, we have to let go of some excuses that we make. We got to acknowledge our own vulnerability and acknowledge our suffering. It's only then that we can walk through the fire and come out on the other side. We forgive by releasing resentment and anger, and that is not easy. That is not easy at all. One of the things that I think when I die, it's going to be on my gravestone, that reality is your best friend. Reality is your friend, and the reality is, depending upon the type of hurt, there are just some things that hurt so bad that resentment is a hard thing to lay behind you. But we need to enter into a conversation about what resentment and anger does to us physically. Resentment and anger, every time you have a thought, you relive the incident. You relive that incident. Blood pressure rises. Adrenaline is released. Cortisone is released. And it hurts your body. It hurts your body in ways that you can only see maybe as you get older, but it does hurt your body. Well, another thing that releasing anger does is give us this big chip on our shoulder that ruins our relationships with people who have not hurt us. Isn't that sad? People who have never done anything to us. If we hold on to that hate and that resentment, then that puts us in a prime position to hurt people who have never done anything to us. One of the most important subcategories of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness. Now, I used to have big problems with self-forgiveness. I was one of those people that if I did something to you, I would hold on to it for like years and years. And continually admonish myself about, I could have done that differently. I could have said that differently. It took a lot of therapy to help me with that. And one of the things that I learned in therapy was that I'm human. I am human. And that was a good thing to wrap my mind around. I am a human being. I do good sometimes. I do bad sometimes. I do stupid things sometimes. I do brilliant things sometimes. Not as often as I'd like, but I do. And to acknowledge that you're human is to also acknowledge that everybody that you interact with is also human. And if you can acknowledge that everybody that you interact with is also human, It opens up a door to forgiveness, a level of forgiveness that you may not even thought that you could do. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Reconciliation is a wonderful thing, but forgiveness just does not wipe that slate clean. All right? Forgiveness is literally acknowledging that you were hurt, but I'm not going to continue this hurt for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean that you forget. It doesn't mean pretending that you were never hurt. It doesn't mean that the relationship that you once had will be what it was before. One of my pet peeves, especially when it comes to traumatic events, is that holding out that hope that everything will be the way it was before. There are some things that are not meant to be the way it was before. That's why they call it change. You move forward, you evolve. Sometimes the most hurtful things are the things in our lives that help us get better. But to hold out hope that everything will be the same, forgiveness is not that. It doesn't even mean that you have to tell the person that you forgive them. I don't know if you've heard that before, but I'm going to repeat that. It doesn't even mean that you have to tell them that you forgive them. Forgiveness is a matter of the heart, okay? Sometimes we tell people that we forgive them. I've seen this in church. I've seen people tell people that they forgive them and use it like a weapon. Yeah, I'm big on inflection. I used to take voice classes when I was younger, and I'm big on inflection, and I listen to not just what people say, but how they say it. So maybe it's just me, but let me see if you've ever seen this. It's like, oh, well, I forgive you. You might shoot me in the face. Why don't you? That's not forgiving me. That's really not. I can tell from your body language, how you said it, the way you said it. That's not real forgiveness. You are trying to exact a price. You are trying to make that person pay a price that they may never pay because it's not up to you. It's not up to you. Forgiveness. You don't even have to tell the person you forgive them. Start it in the heart. As we continue on this journey of living, we get the strength to do all the good in the world that we can do. But even the good that we do in this world is tainted if we cannot learn how to forgive. There is a grace that saves. And as instruments of the greater good, we have to be motivated to always seek higher ground. I tell people this all the time. You do not have to believe in my faith traditions. You don't have to believe in the things I believe in. But one thing I need for everyone to have faith in is your ability to be the better person. Is your knowledge that you are a vessel for higher good. Each and every person in here is a vessel for the higher good. And that we continue to reach up in our journey. And part of that reaching up and evolving and growing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not an empty act by empty people. And forgiveness has a price. We pay a price when we forgive. We do. We have to lay aside some misguided myths, some false ideas, a whole lot of stuff. I call them spider webs. First, because I don't like spiders. I pin everything on the spider. I will. Ask me. Ask me about anything, and I will tell you that a spider did it because I do not like spiders. I know they're useful. I'm a gardener myself, but no. I do not like spiders, and I don't like spider webs. When we don't forgive, an entangling happens inside of us. A whole lot of emotion that we should actually be aware of. All of a sudden, we don't know ourselves as well as we should. We don't know why we hate. We don't know why we're resentful. We don't know why we do the things we do. And a lot of that has a root in unforgiveness. It does. And no one wants to live the spider web life. As much as I hate the spider, it is better to be the spider than to be caught up in the web. I feel that through the years in my own journey of forgiveness, what's always hindered me from forgiving is because I didn't understand it. I really didn't understand it. C.S. Lewis said, forgiveness is a lovely idea until they have something to forgive. Oh, yeah. True. Forgiveness opens the doors to justice and peace. Forgiveness throws open wide the door to even economic elevation for our brothers and sisters. Forgiveness has an element of justice, and if you interject an element of justice, you have to interject grace into that. Genuine forgiveness involves acknowledging the harm that has been done, but releasing the need to execute the person who did that to us, or the event that did that to us, or the circumstance that did that to us. We have retired from being the executioner when we forgive. We've retired. We've let that go. We let that go into the universe and let whatever happens happen to the people that harmed us. But I am not the judge and jury. I am not the one to mete out that kind of justice. My job is only to forgive so that I might be free, so that I can go on and be the vessel of higher purpose that I was created to be. Jesus said on the cross, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That is actually one of my favorite sayings, because I count myself among large numbers of people who at any time and any place may not know what I'm doing. What I don't know could fill 1,000 football fields. What I don't know. And because I am not the font of all the knowledge of the universe, I need to forgive, because I need to acknowledge that I don't have enough information about anyone to judge them for what they did or did not do for me. I don't have that. And that, beloved, is so freeing. It is so freeing. It gets you out your own head. It gets you out of yourself. All of a sudden, you become a vessel for right, for peace, for building bridges, not taking the bricks and throwing them in the water. You become the higher good. I'm going to finish with this. Forgiveness is always a decision. It's a decision. It is as simple as a decision. I would like for everyone here to think about the decisions that we've all made in life. And I would like for you to include forgiveness on your decision that you have to make, that list. It starts with a decision. Please do not wait until you feel better about the person who did you wrong, or the thing that did you wrong, or the circumstance that did you wrong. Because as with my sisters in Waco in 2005, if from 1964 to 2005 they have not felt good about each other, I don't know if they'll ever feel good about each other. They waited to love each other again. If they waited to treat each other right again, forgiveness would never happen. But they did learn to forgive each other. They did. It took a while. It took a long while. But again, we have to know what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not a feeling. Forgiveness is an act. It's an act of the heart. It's for people who love others and themselves. It is for people who don't want to be tied down anymore by whatever happened in the past or what people did, and you don't want to carry them with you on your journey anymore. It is getting them off your back, putting them back where it belongs in the past, and going forward, being the higher vessels of higher good that you were meant to be. Again, this is not about a religion. This is not about what faith. I am so glad and honored to be here in this welcoming place, because just like those beautiful puzzles that are framed over there, I am of the opinion that people of different opinions, different faith, different color, different everything, we need everybody to make that picture pretty. We need everyone to make that puzzle fit. We need everyone. Everyone. So I'd like for you to help me. Let's put aside our biases. Let's put aside animosity. I'll do it with you. Let's put aside those things that hold us to the ground, because I always had this theory that we were all meant to fly in certain ways, right? Do those acts that make us feel lighter than air. Let's put aside those things that keep us from one another. Let's put aside hating people. Let's put aside judging people, whether they're short, tall, black, white, LGBTQ, or as I get all the time, I have a certain group of haters that don't like short people. If you think I'm kidding, they made a song. I'm not insane. There is a song that says, I hate short people. So put all that behind you. And let's do some heart therapy. Let's endeavor to forgive, but forgive the right way. Let's give up being judge, jury, and executioner. Let's take the key that we keep those people who hurt us locked in a cell in our mind, and take that key, open it up, let those people go so that you can be free also. Thank you for having me here. Blessings to everyone.
Thank you. We'll now conclude with our closing hymn, number 129, Let Love Continue Long. We extinguish the chalice here so that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.
May each and every person here know the blessing life. May each and every person here be challenged and excited for what you heard in your heart this day. May you have a wonderful week. May you be blessed with levels of health and happiness and joy that will surprise even you this day. Go in peace.
And we now invite you to join in coffee and conversation in the library.